Welcome to Bloodstained Stories, where we dive deep into the dark and gripping world of true crime. I'm your host, Joseph, and today we're delving into the horrifying case of Jeffrey Dahmer, one of America's most notorious serial killers. Known as the Milwaukee Cannibal, Dahmer's gruesome crimes involved the murder, dismemberment, and cannibalism of 17 young men between 1978 and 1991. Join me as we explore the life of Jeffrey Dahmer, examine his shocking crimes, and discuss the investigation that ultimately led to his arrest and conviction. Are you ready to journey into the heart of true crime? Let's get started. In the summer of 1991, the nation was horrified by the discovery of grisly crimes committed by a seemingly unassuming man in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Jeffrey Dahmer, later dubbed the Milwaukee Cannibal, was responsible for a series of brutal murders that shocked the world with their gruesome details. His heinous acts, involving dismemberment and cannibalism, revealed a deeply disturbed individual whose depravity left an indelible mark on the history of American crime. Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer was born on May 21, 1960, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. From an early age, Dahmer exhibited troubling behaviors, including a fascination with dead animals and a growing sense of isolation. His parents' tumultuous relationship and eventual divorce exacerbated his feelings of abandonment and alienation. Despite these early warning signs, Dahmer's crimes would not come to light until many years later. He graduated from high school and briefly attended Ohio State University before enlisting in the U.S. Army. His service was cut short due to alcohol abuse, and he returned to civilian life, struggling with his inner demons and failing to hold down steady employment. Dahmer's killing spree began in 1978, shortly after his high school graduation, and continued until his arrest in 1991. His victims were primarily young men, many of whom he lured to his apartment with promises of money or companionship. Once there, Dahmer would drug, strangle, and dismember them, often engaging in necrophilia and cannibalism. Significant incidents in Dahmer's criminal activities include Stephen Hicks, June 1978, Dahmer's first known victim, a hitchhiker he picked up and killed in his parents' home. Stephen Twomey, September 1987, the murder that marked the beginning of Dahmer's escalating violence. He killed Twomey in a hotel room and transported the body to his grandmother's house for disposal. The Oxford Apartments murders, 1990 to 1991, a series of killings in Dahmer's Milwaukee apartment, where he meticulously planned and executed his crimes. Notable victims included 14-year-old Conorak Synthesumphone and aspiring model Anthony Sears. Despite numerous encounters with law enforcement and near escapes, Dahmer managed to evade capture for years. A pivotal moment came on May 27, 1991, when 14-year-old Conorak Synthesumphone was found wandering the streets naked and disoriented. Police were called, but Dahmer convinced them that Synthesumphone was his adult lover who had simply had too much to drink. Tragically, the officers left Synthesumphone in Dahmer's custody, and he became one of Dahmer's many victims shortly thereafter. Dahmer's reign of terror finally ended on July 22, 1991, when Tracy Edwards managed to escape from Dahmer's apartment and flagged down police. Inside the apartment, authorities discovered photographs of dismembered bodies, human remains, and evidence of cannibalism, leading to Dahmer's immediate arrest. Jeffrey Dahmer's trial began in January 1992. He pleaded guilty but insane to 15 counts of murder. The trial focused on whether Dahmer was legally insane at the time of the murders. The defense argued that his necrophilic urges were evidence of severe mental illness, while the prosecution contended that Dahmer's extensive planning and efforts to avoid detection demonstrated his sanity. On February 15, 1992, the jury found Dahmer sane and guilty on all counts. He was sentenced to 15 consecutive life terms in prison without the possibility of parole, effectively ensuring he would spend the rest of his life behind bars. Jeffrey Dahmer was incarcerated at the Columbia Correctional Institution in Portage, Wisconsin. On November 28, 1994, he was beaten to death by fellow inmate Christopher Scarver while performing work detail in the prison gymnasium. Dahmer's death brought a violent end to the life of one of America's most notorious serial killers. The Dahmer case had a profound impact on both the victims' families and the public consciousness. It prompted discussions about the failures of the criminal justice system and law enforcement's handling of missing persons cases, particularly those involving marginalized communities. The case also led to changes in how police respond to potential signs of criminal activity and the importance of thorough investigations. Jeffrey Dahmer's gruesome crimes and the horrifying details that emerged during his arrest and trial left an indelible mark on American society. His story serves as a chilling reminder of the capacity for evil that can hide behind a facade of normalcy. The legacy of his crimes continues to evoke fear, revulsion, and sorrow for the victims and their families. Reflecting on Dahmer's case, we are reminded of the importance of vigilance, empathy, and the relentless pursuit of justice. The lives lost to his depravity are not forgotten, and their memory serves as a powerful call to ensure such horrors are never repeated. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Bloodstained Stories as we examined the chilling case of Jeffrey Dahmer. If you found this deep dive into one of America's most notorious killers compelling, please subscribe and leave a review. Your support helps us bring more in-depth true crime stories to you. Follow us on social media for updates and behind-the-scenes content. Have a theory or a case you'd like us to cover? We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and keep exploring the mysteries of the true crime world.